All right, it's 9:01. Do you guys want to do the wild card or push it to next week?
We can knock it out real fast, I think.
Go fast. Let's not leave the people hanging. Yeah.
All right. Wild card this week. What are the big headlines going to be? This is Cole's. So, Cole, maybe you should have introduced it.
Yeah.
But what are the biggest headlines that are crazy now, but you won't be shocked to read later on in 2025 once we're either through the football season or halfway through the football season? What are those shocking headlines? Cole, you started this out, so you can go first.
I will do. So we're each doing two, but I'll start off with this one. Your ACC champion Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets are hosting a matchup at Bobby Dodd Stadium. Here's the deal. You've heard me before. I've talked about it many a time. I am a believer in what Brent Key has this year. I love the addition at wide receiver with Eric Rivers and Dane Patterson. I think Haynes King is your starting quarterback. Is great. Jamal Haynes is a top 10 running back, and I really do like the formality of this offensive line. Their defense is still, I think, going to be really good with the new play caller and Blake Gideon. But I look at their schedule. Colorado week 1, Clemson week 3. Clemson week 3. Couple matchups afterwards. The only two games that I'm really circling at this point is a trap game against Duke because it's going to be in Durham, and at the end of the year against Georgia inside the halls of Mercedes-Benz Stadium. It's not at Bobby Dodd, and it's also not at Sanford Stadium. So you tell me if they're able to beat Clemson and they only go on a run and they lose their one game to Georgia, they'd be undefeated in conference play. I'm very confident that that can be a possibility. They get a rematch against Clemson, or they lose to Clemson. That's their only loss. And they're able to pull the wool over Dabo Swinney's eyes. I like this Yellow Jackets team a lot. I like Haynes King. I like the identity of what they stand for. And there is a legit opportunity to where, much like last season, as long as they can get to Charlotte, they can win the whole thing, and they're hosting a playoff game.
Tom?
Sorry, I'll mute myself there for a second.
He is really thinking about this.
My first one is Brian Kelly will get his buyout in 2025. I think this is his last year with LSU. I think the expectations for that program are so high that even though his buyout is in the neighborhood of $50 million by November, they'll wait until that threshold. So it drops by about roughly $9 million, save a little bit of change. But I think the fatigue has set in there in Baton Rouge with Brian Kelly. So if they're not performing, I could see Brian Kelly being out. And then this one's kind of a shot in the dark because I just have a feeling Gunnar Stockton is not going to finish the season as Georgia's starter. I see that going in a couple of different directions. I don't wish anything ill upon anybody, so I'm not even going to say it out loud. But did anybody feel like super inspired by Gunnar Stockton last year in terms of his performance? Like, people, I think, were sick of Carson Beck a little bit. His attitude, his performance on the field wasn't there because he didn't have the supporting cast, obviously. So once Gunnar Stockton came in, it was a lot closer to, that guy looks just like Stetson Bennett, and he plays just like Stetson Bennett, and he plays that Georgia style of quarterback that they need, which is not a whole lot. You just need to be able to hand the ball off and make some good play action throws. So Gunnar Stockton, while there were positives, he puts himself in harm's way a lot. So does he finish the season as a starting quarterback because he can't or because he gets replaced? We'll see.
Florida State hires Fran Brown at the end of the season. My buddy Nate's been helping us with some of the producing. And so he'll be pissed off to hear that. But Florida State hires Fran Brown after their abysmal 6-6 season in which they have to relieve their head coach. I'll say this. I do like Mike Norvell a lot. Personally, I don't think he's ever going to win anything big at Florida State. So, all feelings aside, I don't think it's going to work out long term. I'd love to be proven wrong because I do like him a lot personally. But Florida State goes out and gets Fran Brown.
I got one more. The Heisman runner-up and Big Ten passing leader, Damon Williams. I love his tape. I love everything about his physical stature. And here's the other thing. I remember watching just 2 years ago a quarterback feel like that he was about ready to take that jump in the Big 12 with Jed Fish as his head coach. It's Noah Fafita. Him and Damon Williams had the exact same height, the exact same arm, the exact same measurables, the exact same weight. I love everything about what he provides for a Jed Fish offense. And I really like this wide receiver core for Washington. Denzel Boston is there. I'm very high on Amari Evans getting a breakout season. I think that Kevin Green's going to be really good in the slot. I think Chris Lawson coming in is going to be pretty good. Audric Harris is going to be pretty good. There's an opportunity to where he's going to put up insane numbers in the Big Ten. And maybe, just maybe, Washington's a dark horse to go ahead and go on a run to the college football playoff. But I'll tell you what, I am buying all the stock I can find on Damon Williams being the Big Ten passing leader this year.
Back to Tom. Do you have one more, Tom?
I don't think I have another one. I just find that interesting with like all the reasons you just stated in terms of quarterback talent in the Big Ten. Now I'm actually thinking about which of those guys could actually break out. I could see Dylan Raiola being the passing leader because they made him throw the ball 400 plus times last year.
You're good now. It was a little tough to hear you for a sec, but go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I could see Dylan Raiola potentially being the passing leader just out of necessity. Like, I think Matt Rule and company have done enough through the transfer portal to improve the offensive line, hopefully improve the running game for him. So he's not taking a beating. He has people to throw to, and he has time, all that sort of stuff. But I could see Dylan Raiola once again having a very high mark in terms of overall passing yardage this upcoming season. But Damon Williams, he's at least going to be fun, period. I'll watch Washington games.
I mean, let's be real. The leader's probably going to be Julian Sang or Lincoln Kienholz because he has 2 top 10 wide receivers at his disposal, including the best player in college football.
I mean, what's the chance those guys split the season?
What if they both go for over 1,400 yards, though? Just imagine that, too. That's a possibility with this offense. If anybody can get the best version out of wide receivers, it's a former wide receiver, now offensive play caller, Brian Hartline.
True. I think losing Evan Stewart is going to hurt Oregon's chances for Dante Moore to potentially set something like that, but I expect him to have a good year. Luke Altmaier will maybe be the most efficient quarterback in the Big Ten in 2025. Is he going to do anything crazy numbers-wise? Like, nope, but his TD to interception ratio is going to be exactly what you want.
Exactly.
All right, my last one, since I'm a homer. The ACC has a winning record against the SEC this year. I think they find a way to split on opening weekend and go 2-2. I think Clemson wins, and then maybe South Carolina drops a game up, in Blacksburg. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe Syracuse can take down Tennessee with their new quarterback. And then I think on rivalry weekend, the SEC will go 1-3. That, unfortunately for me, that only loss to the SEC being when Florida State goes to Florida. But I'll take Georgia Tech in the upset there. And then
Louisville's going to be Kentucky.
Yeah, I like Louisville over Kentucky. I like Clemson to get revenge against South Carolina.
VT versus Vandy week 2.
I got VT there. That's a tough one, but I got VT.
Brett Price screwed me over so bad last year with money purposes. I'm never pulling for Virginia Tech again.
So it is a hot take. We'll see. But that's my one. There was one other one that I was looking at too that is a game, but I just kind of I think Miami. I think Miami beats Florida early in the year too, so that gives me another win down there in South Beach. So ACC has a winning record. Honestly, I'm just trying to will that into existence so that me and Danny Cannell can have some fun on Twitter.
Yeah, so you can have some fun on Twitter.
Rest of the season won't be fun, but I'll have fun on X. All right, TJ Pittenger, Tom Hannafin, Cole Thompson, thanks for hanging out with us tonight. We'll be back next Wednesday at noon, regularly scheduled time. Thank you guys for hanging out, and we'll talk to you soon.